In the year 79 AD, what if I told you an entire city vanished in a single afternoon? Not because of war, not because of disease, but because the earth itself decided to rewrite the sky. And what if I told you this same city, the people, the food, the animals, the dreams was found 2,000 years later, preserved so perfectly you could still see the fear in their final breaths. A city erased, a city reborn, a city that became a message from the universe itself. If you think you know Pompeii, you don't. Not yet. If you're new here, like this video, subscribe and share. Because on this channel, history isn't a story. It's evidence, meaning the world before the ash. Imagine the Mediterranean coastline in the year 79 AD. The water glows blue. Sailboats drift like feathers. The sun hangs gentle and warm over a shining Roman city called Pompeii. To walk its streets was to feel life humming under your feet. Vendors calling out prices for figs and olives. The smell of bread rising from stone ovens. Mosaics glimmering like tiny galaxies beneath your sandals. Children weaving through crowds, chasing each other with wooden toys. This wasn't just a town. It was a masterpiece of Roman engineering. Aqueducts feeding fountains. Bathhouses warmed by intricate heating systems. Homes painted with colors that still glow today. Carved signs guiding visitors like ancient billboards. Pompeii lived loudly, joyfully, confidently, like a city convinced tomorrow would always come. Above it all, silent and green, was Mount Vesuvius. To the people of Pompeii, it wasn't a monster. It was a guardian. A mountain that grew grapes, shaded homes, and stood unmoving so still that no one alive had ever seen it erupt. To them, danger felt as distant as the stars. They didn't know that beneath the vineyards, the earth was storing a fire older than Rome itself. Remostin, on Forditionov, the earth whispers. Before it shouts, the first warning came 17 years before destruction. The year was 62 AD. Without warning, the ground shook with a violence that split statues and toppled temples. Walls cracked, columns fractured. The floor beneath their feet rippled like water. It was not just an earthquake, it was the earth exhaling. But Romans were builders. They patched the damage, repainted the walls, and moved forward as if nothing had happened. Over the next decade, the signs continued. Wells emptied. Animals became restless. The ground swelled in places, rising by inches. Small tremors rattled homes so often they became background noise. They didn't know what we know now. When a volcano prepares to awaken, it behaves like a star beginning to die quiet at first, then restless, then unstoppable. The city of Pompeii was living in the calm before the cosmic storm. Mester, the morning of the end. On the morning of August 24th, 79 AD, nothing felt unusual. Fishermen set out early. Markets opened with laughter. Shops clattered with metal tools. A warm breeze drifted through the streets. The mountain stood silent. But deep under Pompeii, magma molten rock formed long before human memory was rising faster than ever before. Pressure increased. The earth's crust trembled. Gas built up in chambers like a trapped breath waiting to escape. Around midday, the mountain reached the limit of what it could hold. And then, the world split open. A deafening roar shattered the sky. A column of ash, gas, and stone blasted upward with the force of atomic bombs. It climbed higher and higher until it reached the edge of the stratosphere over 30 kilometers above the Earth. Pliny the Younger would later describe it as a shape resembling a great pine tree. Its trunk rising straight, its top spreading wide into a dark canopy. The universe had spoken. The peaceful mountain had become a pillar of fire. Moments later, the ash began to fall. 19. The rain of stone. At first, the people of Pompeii didn't panic. They had seen ash before from distant eruptions. This felt like an inconvenience, annoying, but harmless. But then the sky darkened. The sun dimmed. Hot stones like pumice rocks began to rain down, bouncing off roofs, striking the ground like hail. Within minutes, the streets were covered. Within an hour, rooftops sagged under the weight. People rushed indoors, thinking it safer. They were wrong. The ash thickened, turning the air into a choking fog. Breathing became painful. Visibility dropped to almost nothing. Windows shattered. Tiles crashed to the floor. Families huddled in rooms, coughing, praying, waiting. Outside, the city was disappearing beneath a gray sea. And Demiston, the night without light. By nightfall, Pompeii looked like another planet. The ash clouds were so dense, they turned day into midnight. Torches barely glowed. The moon vanished. Even the sound of life faded, muffled under layers of falling debris. Some tried to flee through the gates. Some ran toward the harbor. Some climbed rooftops, hoping for rescue. But the ash poured down relentlessly. Every breath filled lungs with dust. Every step grew heavier. Every direction felt wrong. Those who stayed indoors hoped the storm would pass. They didn't know that the true catastrophe had not yet begun. The final breath of a city. Just after dawn the next morning, Vesuvius unleashed the force that destroyed Pompeii. A pyroclastic surge. Imagine a wave of superheated gas, ash, and rock moving faster than the fastest hurricane winds hundreds of kilometers per hour. Imagine temperatures hot enough to turn flesh to dust in seconds. This was not lava. This was the earth exhaling death. When it reached Pompeii, everything stopped. Time stopped. Movement stopped. Life stopped. In one instant, the entire city fell silent. People didn't run. They didn't suffer long. They simply ceased. 1,000 stories ended at once. Just before, the city buried in time. By the afternoon of August 25th, Pompeii no longer existed. It lay entombed under nearly 6 meters of ash and volcanic stone. Over the years, vegetation covered the land. New settlements rose miles away. Maps no longer included its name. The city had vanished so completely that for over 1,600 years, no one even knew where it slept. Pompeii faded into myth, a rumor, a whisper of a once thriving world. The earth had hidden it, but not erased it. Into was. The city returns to the sun. In 1738, workers digging foundations stumbled upon strange stone objects, fragments of walls, painted frescoes, marble floors still polished with ancient footsteps. The rediscovery of Pompeii was not just an archaeological event, it was a resurrection. As excavations expanded, the world gasped at what emerged. Colorful murals still bright enough to look freshly painted, tools lying exactly where they were last used, temples that echoed ancient prayers, amphitheaters where performances once filled the air. And then came the haunting discovery, the voids, spaces in the hardened ash where human bodies had once been. Archaeologists poured plaster into them. What emerged were shapes of people frozen in their final moments. A mother shielding her child, a man covering his face, a girl curled on the floor, a dog twisted, still chained to its post. These were not statues. They were time. They were memory. They were the instant the universe pressed pause on a city. Pompeii became a window, an ancient message delivered across centuries. When expeded, the cosmic echo. What happened to Pompeii isn't just a story about a volcano. It is a reminder that Earth is part of a much larger cosmic system. Volcanoes are born from shifting plates, driven by the same heat that came from the formation of our planet. The ash that buried Pompeii contains minerals older than the sunday. The pressure that destroyed the city came from forces shaped when the Earth was still molten. Pompeii is not just history. It is a cosmic event wearing a human face. It teaches us the same lessons we learn from stars. Everything is temporary. Everything is fragile. Everything can change in a moment. And yet, everything leaves a trace. We study supernovae to understand distant galaxies. We study Pompeii to understand ourselves. Both are snapshots of destruction frozen in time. Both reveal the beauty and danger of the universe we live in. And both remind us that existence is a delicate balance. Just like Pompeii, we live beneath forces we think we understand until the day they awaken. End quote. The lesson of a lost city. Today, millions visit Pompeii every year. They walk its streets. They enter its homes. They stand in the shadow of Vesuvius, the same mountain that once seemed harmless. And they feel something unusual, a sense that time is not linear. Past and present blend. You can almost hear footsteps behind you, almost hear voices from markets long gone. Almost feel the moment before the sky fell. Pompeii is a warning written in ash, a reminder that comfort can blind us, that nature moves on cosmic timelines, not human ones, that civilizations, no matter how advanced, can be humbled in minutes. But Pompeii is also a message of hope, a message that stories survive, memory survives, humanity survives. Even in ash, life leaves fingerprints. Riker, Pompeii was destroyed by a mountain, but discovered by time, and preserved by the universe itself. The question is, what other stories lie buried beneath our feet right now? What other forgotten cities are waiting for their moment to rise again? What other cosmic messages is the Earth still hiding? On our next video, we'll explore another mystery, one that might connect the ancient world to secrets written deep in the stars. Subscribe, stay curious, and return for the next story. The universe has many more.